All right, let's get right into it. We're about to unpack one of the most powerful arguments you'll find anywhere. It's tucked away in an ancient letter written to a community that was in a serious crisis, and it carried a message that promised to solve a huge problem, not just for them, but forever.
So picture this. The author? We don't even know their name. The people they're writing to, they are facing intense pressure, maybe even imprisonment to just give up on what they believe. So what on earth could this message be that was so critical, so urgent, that it had to be written? Well, that's the very puzzle we're going to piece together.
So, first things first, let's get our bearings. While the author is anonymous, they clearly knew Jesus' first followers. They're not some outsider. And they're writing to Jewish Christians, people who knew their scriptures inside and out. But here's the problem. They were suffering for their faith. Losing their homes, getting thrown in prison. The crisis was very real, and some were right on the edge of walking away from it all. So the author has this one laser-focused mission. Prove to them that Jesus is the real deal, the ultimate reality they've been waiting for, and to just plead with them to hang on.
Now, to really get the power of the author's solution, you first have to understand the problem they were up against. And it all revolved around their entire religious system, which the author describes as a world of shadows. Think about that. A system that could point to a problem, could constantly remind you of it, but could never actually get rid of it.
For centuries, this was just how things worked. The relationship with God was centered on this sacrificial system. You had priests day in and day out offering animal sacrifices. And the whole point was to kind of cover over the community's sins, to keep things right so a holy God could dwell among them. This was the constant rhythm of their spiritual lives.
And this is where the author's argument gets really brilliant. He sets up this sharp contrast. On one side, you have the old system, the shadow. It was constant, right? Daily, yearly sacrifices. And what did they achieve? A temporary covering, a patch. The result was that you were always being reminded of the problem because you had to keep dealing with it. But then he points to this new reality. What's it like? It's not constant. It's once, for all time. It's not a temporary cover. It's a permanent cleansing. And the outcome? Sins aren't just covered. They're not even remembered anymore.
And that's the key takeaway right there. The very fact that the sacrifices had to be offered over and over and over again, that was the proof that they weren't the final answer. Think about it. If a payment truly settles a debt, you stop making payments. The fact that they had to keep doing it every year was just a big annual reminder that the debt was still on the books. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart, the absolute core of the letter. The author is making this incredible claim. Where that entire system of shadows fell short, Jesus provides the final, the ultimate, the once-for-all solution. One single act that changed the entire game, forever.
And this comparison just lays it out perfectly. The old priests, they stood every single day. Why? Because their work was never ever finished. They were flawed human beings offering these temporary sacrifices. But Jesus, the ultimate high priest, he offered one perfect sacrifice, himself. And then he did something no priest in history had ever done. He sat down. That act of sitting down is everything. It means completion. It means the job is done. Finished. Period.
1. That's the number that changes it all. Not thousands upon thousands of sacrifices over the centuries. Just one. One perfect act that was enough for all people, for all time.
And what's the result of that one perfect sacrifice? This unbelievable promise. It's not just that your sins are covered over, it's that they are permanently forgotten, wiped from the record as if they never happened, remembered no more.
So, if the problem is really, truly solved for good, what now? What does that actually mean for how we live? Well, the author immediately pivots from this deep theology to the really practical, you could even say radical, consequences. It leads to a whole new kind of confidence, a new level of access to God, and a brand new urgency for community.
You have to understand, this was an absolutely earth-shattering idea. In the old system, the Holy of Holies, the very presence of God, was completely off-limits. Only the high priest could go in there, and only one single day a year. But now, the author says the way is wide open. Because of what Jesus did, anyone can walk right up to God boldly and with complete confidence. The barrier is gone.
And so, based on this new reality, the author gives 3 urgent calls to action. First, let us draw near. He's saying, use this access. Don't stand at a distance. Second, let us hold fast. Don't let go of this incredible hope you have. Cling to it. And third, let us stir up one another. Basically, don't try to do this alone. This life of faith, it's a team sport.
You have to gather together, encourage each other, and keep each other going.
But with this amazing offer comes an incredibly high-stakes choice. And the author, well, he doesn't pull any punches here. He delivers one of the most serious and sobering warnings in the entire Bible. The point isn't just to scare people, it's to show them how utterly foolish it would be to walk away from something so priceless.
The warning is pretty stark. If someone truly understands the truth about Jesus and then deliberately, consciously turns their back on him, well, there's no plan B. There isn't another sacrifice coming.
Now, we have to be super clear about what this is saying. This is not about a believer who messes up, who struggles, who stumbles. Not at all. The author is talking about something much more serious, a hardened, intentional, final rejection of Jesus, the one and only solution God provided. To reject him is to reject the only hope there is.
But right after that heavy warning, the tone shifts again. It gets really personal, almost like a coach giving a pep talk. He says, hey, remember how you endured before? Remember the joy you had even when you were suffering? Don't throw that away now. Your confidence has a huge reward coming.
And he finishes this whole line of argument with this powerful declaration of identity. He's speaking for them, with them. He's saying, that's not who we are. We're not the kind of people who shrink back and give up. No, we are people of faith, and we are going to endure to the very end.
You know, this ancient letter, its urgent message just echoes right across the centuries, and it leaves us with the very same question those first readers had to face. In a world that is constantly pressuring us from all sides to compromise, to back down, or to just give up, what does it really mean for you and me to endure?